spree, where mysteries and terror be, and darkness comes for you and me. Join us on a slasher spree. There's no place to hide, and soon you'll see siblings on a slasher spree. Hi, witches.
Wee!
So today's topic on witchcraft is, I know, it's brought to you by the inspiration from a magazine about spells and the history of the magical art form I picked up this week.
Ooh, okay.
Right? And I would mention where I got the magazine from, but they aren't paying for ad space. So I'll let you know if that changes.
Oh, you are so business savvy.
I know. What I will reveal, though, is that this magazine issue comes from the Curious Minds series. And I'm keeping an eye out for future issues because they seem to be hitting on our genre of topics for sure.
Ooh, neat. Okay, bring them up next time you're here so I can take a peruse.
Ooh, yeah, okay, for sure. That said, let's dive in because we have a lot to cover today.
Okay, so witchcraft, a complex and multifaceted concept, has intrigued and perplexed humanity across different cultures and time periods. Its origins are as diverse as they are ancient, rooted deeply in folklore, religion, and practices of societies worldwide.
Yeah, and today we're going to explore the multifarious origins of witchcraft, tracing its development from prehistoric times through various cultural lenses and historical periods, culminating in the complex understanding of witchcraft in the modern era.
The origins of witchcraft can arguably be traced back to the Paleolithic
Ooh,
period.
nailed it.
Boom. Where the earliest human societies engaged in practices that could be considered as the precursors to witchcraft. Cave paintings, such as those found in La Coques, France. La
Yep.
Coques. Okay. Um, so yes, cave paintings, like those found in La Coques, France, suggest a belief in supernatural forces and the practice of magic rituals aimed at ensuring successful hunting or providing protection.
Yes, shamanism. Shamanism.
I think it's shamanism.
Shamanism. Yeah, that sounds right.
Shaman, because shaman,
Yes, shaman.
shaman are like a people,
Yes. So this
right?
would be the shamanism,
Shamanism.
characterized by the mediation between the human and spirit worlds through trance states, is considered one of the earliest forms of such practices. Shamans, revered
See.
as healers,
Mhm.
seers, and mediators, employed rituals that can be seen as early witchcraft, aiming to influence the natural world or commune with spirits.
I'm trying to picture a shaman. Let me Google image that quick
Oh,
because I feel like they have like it's like do they have a certain
like
Oh, they don't.
look or vibe? I feel like it would be a
Look,
very like, okay, am I Googling
it's
shamanism as well or shamans?
um it's very Native American
Oh, okay.
or Native Indian. That's not what I don't know what I'm thinking of, but I was incorrect, but now I know.
Oh, okay.
So, as societies evolved, so did their magical practices. Ancient civilizations such as the Egyptians, the Babylonians, Greeks, and Romans all had their forms of witchcraft, which were closely intertwined with their religious and cultural beliefs.
In ancient Egypt, for instance, magic or Heka was a legitimate and integral part of religious and daily life, used to protect against evil forces or to bring about desired outcomes through spells and amulets.
Similarly, in ancient Greece, magic was a mixed practice that ranged from the publicly accepted oracular.
Mhm.
Oh, oracles. Okay, I was like, I don't understand, but oracles. Um, so oracular predictions, and I don't like that word.
Oracular.
Like oracle, like I like that word.
See, I thought oracular meant like
Oh,
using your voice.
do we need to pull up Google again? All I can think of is what's the movie 300, where
Oh,
they
like
have
you
to
think
like
that there's like
go
seers?
to the oracle. Yeah, I don't know.
No, relating to an
Googling it.
oracle. You're right. Yep.
Ooh, I love that for me.
Yeah.
So
Not me
there.
using words that I don't even know the meaning to.
Oh my god, you are an embarrassment. So the oracle predictions and healing rituals to the more clandestine curse tablets and love spells.
The perception of witchcraft underwent significant transformation with the rise of Christianity in Europe.
Mm.
Initially, the early Christian church was relatively tolerant of traditional folk beliefs and practices. What a time to be alive when that was the case.
Right? That took a
However,
wild swing.
it did as it consolidated power.
Mm.
Anything outside the Christian doctrine began to be viewed with suspicion and hostility.
You don't say.
Yeah, crazy. I know.
For such an accepting group of people.
Oh, the shade.
By the late medieval period, witchcraft was increasingly associated with hearsay and devil worship. Dun 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 dun. The publication of the Malleus Malf. I just spent like the last 20 minutes pronouncing this word. I'm going to say
Yes.
Malleus, and then you're going to say the next word. Ready? The publication of
Maleficarum.
the. Well, I wasn't ready.
Oh, sorry.
The publication of the Malleus
Maleficarum.
Malleus Maleficarum.
in 1487. A treatise on the prosecution of witches marked a turning point leading to the widespread witch hunts across Europe.
Yes, and I actually have a copy of the Malleus Maleficarum.
Ooh.
It's a pretty wild read, honestly.
Mm.
Uh, Anyway, so these witch hunts were characterized by mass hysteria, trials,
Mhm.
and executions, resulting in the deaths of tens of thousands of people, predominantly women.
Yes.
This is something like the actual trials. I feel like I may want to explore in a different episode because it was just too much to get all in at one time.
Oh,
But
that's a lot. Yeah.
the trials are really interesting, and I would like to
Mhm.
circle back to that at some point.
Yeah. Yeah. So the Enlightenment and the rise of scientific reasoning, again, shocker, brought about a decline in the witch hunts and a gradual secularization
Ooh,
of society. However, the fascination with witchcraft and the occult experienced a revival in the 19th and 20th centuries due to the movie Craft. No, I'm just kidding. 19th and 20th centuries, notably through the emergence of esoteric movements like theosophy, theosophy,
ooh, yeah.
theosophy, and the New Age movement.
The 20th century also saw the birth of Wicca, something I
Mm.
am very familiar with, founded by Gerald Gardner in the 1950s, which presented witchcraft in a new positive light as a nature based pagan
Mhm.
religion, one I was a card carrying member of for the majority of my
Yes.
teen years.
Oh my gosh, we'll get to that. Today, witchcraft is understood in a variety of ways, ranging from the practice of Wicca and other neo pagan religions to the folk magic traditions that continue in many cultures around the world. Additionally, witchcraft has been reclaimed by some as a symbol of feminism and empowerment, a stark contrast to its historical demonization.
Yeah. The origins of witchcraft are as ancient as humanity itself, evolving from prehistoric Samhanistic practices to complex systems intertwined with the religious, cultural, and social fabrics of various civilizations.
Through the centuries, witchcraft has been feared and revered, persecuted and celebrated, reflecting the changing values, fears, and understanding of the societies in which it is practiced.
Its resilience and adaptability speak to the enduring human fascination with the mysteries. I was going to say
Mhm.
mysteries. That sounded weird.
Mysteries.
Of the natural
Uh,
world and the desire to influence or understand forces beyond the visible and tangible, which honestly makes a lot of sense.
mm,
I definitely think I was drawn to the craft at the time because it gave me some sense of control over things we really
mm,
have no control over.
mhm.
And as a pubescent teenager, that was obviously very attractive.
We both made it through our teen years with unique forms of self-expression.
That is such a polite way to put that.
We also can't talk about witchcraft or our teen years without mentioning the most iconic movie ever in this genre.
Mm.
And it's the 1996 The Craft, directed by Andrew Fleming, which
Yes.
I will say, Leo
Oh.
and I, for whatever reason, watched 2 weeks ago.
Oh.
It was just like a random evening, and we were scrolling through, Netflix, and it came up, and we were both like, "Oh god, yeah!" And we put it on, and oh my god, it was so good.
Yeah,
So good.
it's still to this day an absolute banger,
Yes.
regardless of its average Rotten Tomato score of
Which is
57%.
crazy.
I know, but
Yeah.
also,
Yeah.
fun fact,
Mm.
this film came out the same year as Scream, and both star Nev Campbell and Skeet Ulrich.
Mhm.
So that must have been a wild year for both of their careers.
I did not realize that it came out the same year,
Yeah, same year.
because it feels like they didn't like, Skeet Ulrich and Nev Campbell didn't have the same, it was a very famous movie.
Mhm.
Like, The Craft was a very famous movie, but it seems like Scream was what, put them on the map kinda thing.
Maybe.
Um
I mean, I know Nev Campbell was very successful prior to The Craft and Scream with Party of Five.
Oh, yes, yes,
So I
yes.
know I think she was like the name for these movies at the time.
Okay, okay.
Skeet, I'm not sure because his role in The Craft wasn't as big as it was in Scream. So maybe
No, but
I
he was
think,
still he was still a decent enough size role, which
yeah.
I totally refreshed my memory, that I watched it a couple weeks ago. But yeah, the '90s was just God, it was good for movies. It's like
Mhm.
appliances. They just don't make them like they used to, you know?
Okay, well, that sounded so grandma, but I have to agree. It also wouldn't be fair for me, anyway, to mention movies on the subject from this time period without mentioning 1998's Practical Magic,
Yes.
directed by Griffin Dune and starring Sandra Bullock and Nicole
Yes.
Kidman. I don't think it hits the
Mm.
same caliber as The Craft, but it is like a noteworthy mention for me.
Mhm.
I always enjoyed this movie. This one has a shocking 24% on Rotten Tomatoes, which I'm kind of over referencing Rotten Tomatoes because who are these psychopaths that rate these movies so low? Like, is my judgment just clouded by nostalgia, or is everyone just absolutely cuckoo bananas?
I think I feel like people that rate on Rotten Tomatoes are, like, people that like real movie not real movies, but,
Interesting.
critically acclaimed films,
Oh, and you know what? I was kind of thinking the
right?
opposite, where I was thinking anyone who is rating these movies this low, I do not think was born yet when these movies came
Mm.
out because I don't think they could appreciate what
Some things
having a
are
movie like that,
That's true. Some
you
things
know?
are very, very time-based. Um, I know we talked about it in one of our previous episodes, me watching 13 Ghosts,
Yes.
recently versus, how amazing I thought it was when I was younger. So, yeah, I think that clouds your judgment. Like, if there's, I don't know, a 25-year-old watching The Craft for the first time, then maybe, yeah, they're like, "Meh."
Yeah, I
But I
guess
mean,
that's
when
probably
you
fair.
watch that movie, having grown up with it,
Yeah.
movie is amazing.
Yeah, it hits for me for sure every
Oh,
time.
yeah, and I just I don't know. I feel like it spurred so much, like, specific I know we were just talking about practical magic, but if we bounce back to the craft, I think it
Yeah.
spurred a lot for me just in those, like, formative years. Like, if I could have been Nancy,
Oh,
prior to bad, crazy snake Nancy, um, like, that was my look that I was going for, that
yeah.
was, like, everything. And I remember I had a little, like, spell book and
Oh, who didn't?
yeah. I was telling Leo this, apparently not everybody did that, but whatever.
Oh, not everyone was into witchcraft?
I guess not.
I mean, I
Witchers.
yeah. I guess I don't really see straight men being that
Oh,
into it on a grander scale
yeah, that's fair.
because yeah, I was more like, okay, if I can't be Nancy, then I want to be friends with Nancy.
Okay.
And that's one of the reasons why Amanda and I are best friends
Oh, yes, yes, that
because
makes yes.
she
She
was
was
the
that
small
Nancy
town,
vibe.
yeah,
Yep,
she was small town girl with the Nancy mind and the Nancy look, and it was literally first day of high school. I was like, oh
yep.
my god, that bitch looks like Nancy from The Craft. She will be my friend. And look at all these years later, we're
And
still
fast
besties.
forward 32 years later.
Oh Jesus. That was an
Yeah,
exaggeration for those who don't know when my birthday is. It was not 32 years ago.
that you entered high school?
Yeah. It was not
Yeah, I know.
32 years ago.
No, we're
Sweet
talking like
Jesus.
28, 28 max.
28? I graduated high school 20 years ago. Oh, ew,
Uh,
which also doesn't sound
See?
great. Okay, well, either way, let's not date us too.
Uh,
We were alive when the movie came out and we liked it.
yes,
We don't have to talk about
yes. How
specifics.
old we were specifically? Yeah, no, and
Um,
you know, it's funny because when it came out, I was quite young. So I specifically remember my spell book
yep.
was a dolphin, like a pretty sparkly blue dolphin notebook because like that was like I don't know, I was like 8 or
Yeah.
9, right?
Yeah.
So that was like where I was, and then the craft came out. This pretty, like, blue dolphin notebook, my witchcraft book, and went to, PetSmart to shop for my necklace accessories. I
Oh,
could have my,
yes.
like, dog spike collar and my choke collar and oh, what a time.
Those were, I
What a
mean, yeah, and
time.
you were so far into it. Like you
Mm,
were so far into that vibe
yeah.
that did you not, correct me if I'm wrong, but did you not go as Britney Spears for Halloween because it was such a stark contrast to your
I d
just
so
day-to-day?
yeah, kind of.
Okay.
So what if you remember of course you remember Katie.
Yes.
So I had a best friend, through elementary school, and then she kind of moved away. I think she did grade 9, maybe half of grade 10, and then she moved away to Napanee, the home of Avril Lavigne.
Oh,
Um, Fun fact, her dad was
dropping
Avril
facts.
Lavigne's, hockey coach when she was a kid.
Oh.
Um
Why do you have to go and make things so complicated?
So, where were we going with this? Oh, yes.
You and
Um,
Halloween, yeah.
yes. So, Caitlin was, like, very, like, stereotypical blonde, pink, like, girly not girly, but, like, just had that, like, style about her, right?
Yep.
And I think it was grade 9 that, like, we went, to school, like, for dress up day or whatever, and we, like, dressed up as each other. So she was
Oh,
like
that's what it was. Yes,
yeah,
yes,
yeah,
yes,
yeah,
yes,
I could
yes.
picture, like, the photo
I
that
can
her
see
and
the
I
photo.
have
Yeah.
yeah, have together. So, yeah, she's in, like, all black with, like, my dog chains, and, I'm in her clothes with, like, her pink tank top.
So funny.
Oh, good
So
times.
funny. Also, I'm curious.
Mhm.
I would love to know what girls did at slumber parties before light as a feather, stiff as a board.
Agreed.
Like, what were they doing with their time?
I
Because
don't know.
that is what you did at parties
Yes.
post-craft. Like,
Yes.
Light as a feather, stiff as a board. Light as a feather, stiff as a board. Light as a feather, stiff as a board.
I was saying that to Leo when we were watching it. I'm like, "Oh my god, the number of times that I thought I could make this happen."
of course, we all did. We were so into
And
it.
he was like, "That's the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard."
I mean, okay, fine. We were like 8 years old, but
I know.
still.
And he was like, what, 30?
Say what?
No, he wasn't quite that old. He was like 20. We didn't know each other, for the record.
Yeah, no.
But yeah, so I guess you're right. I guess like a 20-year-old straight man watching The Craft really didn't have the same impact as
Yeah, so it's those men that are bringing down the Rotten Tomatoes score. That's what
see,
it is. Yeah.
middle-aged white men at it again.
Because I did like I lived and breathed the
Mhm.
craft. I wanted to be
Yep.
all of them at the same time.
Yep.
And I had, yeah, aside from Light as a Feather, Stiff as a Board, aside from it like really just making me deep dive into the craft
Yep.
and just wanting to be a full-blown witch.
Yep.
I remember doing like the whole like bloodletting thing in the forest with
Yeah.
Jennifer Lamble.
Oh my god, yeah.
I
Yeah.
remember doing all of that. I remember the us trying to invoke Minnow
Oh, yes, yes, yes,
in the
yes.
basement. Yes, of
We did do
course.
that. Yeah.
We did
Who
do that.
didn't? Like, this is my
That's what I'm
question.
asking. Yeah, same.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, it turns out that we did a lot of weird things. I mean, I had this instance at work yesterday where I, like, used what I thought was a very common saying,
oh my god, yeah.
and everybody just stopped and kinda looked at me, and I was like, "What?" And they're like, "What did you just say?"
Yeah, I was surprised because I saw your thing on Insta. You did like
Yeah,
the
yeah.
survey, and it
Yeah.
was pretty like right down the middle. At
I
least when I did it.
know!
Yeah, it was pretty
There were
50-50, which
so many people that were like, "I have never heard that saying before," and I was
yeah,
like,
which
"Okay,
is
well,
wild.
whatever." So, yeah, apparently many children d like, so, sometimes I'll say something to Leslie, um, like, "Yeah, oh, yeah, yeah, we were, like, invoking Mana when, like, we were little," and she's just mortified by, like so, yeah, I yeah, I don't know. I don't know, but
I know. Well,
eh.
almost 30 years later, I can still remember Hail to the guardians of the watchtowers of the east,
Yes. Yes.
etc.,
Finger
etc.
snaps. Finger
Finger snaps.
snaps.
I
Yeah.
never got hit by lightning. I never got the
No.
power I dreamed of.
Yeah.
I between I think the craft, Charmed, and
Ooh.
Sabrina the Teenage Witch.
You know, that's a yeah, it really was Blair Witch? When did Blair let me look that up.
Blair
Um,
Witch, I think was late 90. I want to say 1998 if I know my film stuff. I think it was 1998.
Blair Witch Project was 86% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Oh damn.
99.
Oh, it was close. Okay.
1999.
Yeah.
So, yes, it was like a season of The Witch.
Yeah.
Must be the
Oh,
season of the witch. I love
Yeah,
that
but
song.
legit, late
Yeah,
90s. Total, it
yeah,
was the witch. It was the witch. It was time to be the witch. That was when it was
yeah.
cool to be a witch. I honestly, like, I will say this even though it's embarrassing. I thought for sure that on the morning of my 16th birthday, I would get my powers just like Sabrina did, and I'm still waiting.
Yeah.
And then I thought, what is this bullshit? Is it because I'm a guy? This is so
Mm.
sexist. Men
Oh,
have it so
yes.
hard.
Mhm.
They don't get cool powers. I can't just manifest an ice cream cone when I want one. Sabrina Sabrina just gave out like just the expectations. I
Mm,
was here for it. I was like
yeah.
looking up to you, Sabrina.
God, I forgot about Sabrina.
I know I'd love to
I mean, I
rewatch
didn't
it actually.
forget about Sabrina, but yeah, that was such a good show.
Oh, God.
Such a good show. I love the ants. I loved, Salem the cat. Oh, he was so cute. Little
Yes,
talking
because
cat.
I don't know if you watched the reboot or remake of
Oh, you know what?
Sabrina.
I didn't.
I was not
No,
here for it. I'm
bad? Okay.
sorry. it tried to
Reboots are
go.
hard.
They're hard, and because it really tried to take, like, I don't even know if this is a thing, but, like, a Netflix spin to it where it was darker, they wanted to be edgier.
Mm.
They were coming off it because Sabrina is actually in the same, universe as, like, Archie and the gang, like, in Riverdale. So Sabrina takes
Oh,
place in Greendale or something like that, and Riverdale is the
okay.
town adjacent to that. So they try, and they did crossovers, and it was a whole thing, and, like, I just
Mm.
wasn't here for it. But I was mostly excited to see what they were going to do with Salem, because
Okay.
the cat in the sitcom, it was just everything for
Yeah.
me.
Yeah.
um and they didn't try to take that, like, cheeky kind of campy vibe to it, so it
Mm.
didn't. I did watch the first season. I didn't go back to it, um because, yeah, it didn't live up to me what I was
That's
hoping for.
fair.
But then those like 90s sitcoms too, they don't revive well.
Yeah. No, because you're in a completely different time. Right? Like, when like, you're just in a different time in your I mean, if you can even call it a time in your life. You're a child, so they're like, you don't have stressors, you don't have anything. So it also like, it brings you back to like, watching the originals brings you back to a time
Yes.
where life was much easier,
Yes.
you
And
know?
this is all pre-internet. Like, sometimes I
Mhm.
think about, like, the weird shit we did as kids, and then I thought,
Oh.
would we have done this if we had Instagram? Like, if we were literally
Mm.
just
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
scrolling or Googling or, like,
Yeah,
YouTubing, like, that was not a thing.
yeah.
So, yeah,
No.
you watched The Craft and you decided you were gonna be a witch, and then you spent
Yup.
all of your free time doing that.
Light as a feather, stiff as a board. Light as a feather, stiff as a board. Light as a feather, stiff as a
Like, literally going to the local library and getting books out on witchcraft
Yep,
because they had spells in them that you were
yep,
convinced, even though
yep,
they could be taken out for free by anyone at your
yep,
local library, that they would
mhm,
make someone love you. Oh, yes,
yes,
they would.
yep, 100%, or make the light change, the color, like, the
Oh my
traffic
god, if
light
your eyes.
change.
Oh my god. Okay, hold on, hold on, hold on, hold on, hold on, because I
Okay.
remember that there was a spell
For the
that
traffic light
for the
change,
traffic
right?
lights,
I
yes.
had it written in my blue journal. I
Oh,
wish I could
shit.
find that dolphin journal. That would be amazing. I wonder where that ever got
Oh,
to.
okay, I know it. I actually still
Okay,
remember it. Okay.
okay,
So it
okay.
was on the count of 1, the spell has begun. On the count of 2, all lights in tune. On the count of 3, all lights green for me. 1, 2, 3, so mote it be.
Oh, so mote it be! Oh
Yes.
god.
And guess what? That
It
spell
never
was long
worked.
enough. Well, it actually usually did. It did work because it took so long to say that the light usually changed in the course of saying the spell.
Uh,
It was almost like a placebo spell. But
yes, yes, yes.
I was convinced. I was convinced. I
Yeah.
had the power,
I've got the power.
but I didn't.
Oh. Oh, being 11 years old in the front seat, driving to Walmart.
Oh,
What a
God.
time to be alive.
With no internet to follow you around. I'm just so
Uh,
thankful. I'm so thankful too that even, like, Facebook came out
oof.
almost after my club
Yeah.
days.
I mean, it was around, but it doesn't feel like it was
Yeah, like, I feel like
like, when
for
it was
me,
just Facebook, I feel like it wasn't as widely used as
no,
now.
it
There's, like,
definitely
those
was not.
multiple social media, outlets,
Yeah,
right?
like, it was Facebook or bust. Like, you either
Yeah.
had Facebook or you
Yeah.
didn't, and it was usually you
MySpace.
were. Yes, like, you had Facebook because you were already comfortable using MySpace,
Yeah.
and MySpace was not, like, the picture opportunity that Facebook eventually became, and I am just
Mm.
so grateful.
Yeah.
Like, there's not a
Agreed.
lot of things I'm that grateful about, but
Mm.
being at least more of a mature, it might even be a stretch, but being
Yeah.
somewhat of an age where I wasn't worried about everything I did showing up on the
Yeah.
internet,
Yeah.
that was huge because I don't
Yeah.
think I would be comfortable with that anymore. Um,
Bad
and I
news.
just, yeah, good
Yeah.
lord.
Yeah.
But oh yes, okay. So before we sign off here,
Mhm.
I did want to take a moment to congratulate us on doing an episode last week and this week. So
good. We got one in this episode.
Phew.
We have not been this productive, probably since like Christmas, like pre-Christmas. I don't even know.
Yeah, it's
Uh,
been a struggle.
That's sad. I
Aw.
am leaving on Saturday for a week in Myrtle Beach, so it will be probably at least another 2 weeks after this episode airs before our next one. I'm sorry, but also not sorry because going to the
Yeah.
beach.
I'm off to Myrtle Beach for a
I'm off
week.
to Myrtle Beach.
You sound old.
You look so old.
Yeah.
I'm also babysitting a brand new corgi puppy for an
yes.
entire week starting tomorrow. So
Eee.
excited,
For
horrified,
you? Yeah.
you know, lots of things. Lots of things. No, it'll be fun, but it'll be consuming. So
Yes. That's
yeah.
that's a word. Yeah.
Sign it off for the next 2 to 3 weeks.
Place your bets.
So this has been Kristen
And Randy.
slashing our way into your hearts.
And nightmares.
Happy haunting. Bye, witches.
Witches.
We said it together because it's about witches. Bye, witches.
Bye, witches. Jesus Christ.